The Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra is Samsung's latest and greatest phone of 2020. Is this beast of a smartphone worth the premium price, or should you save your $1,299? Let's find out. Hey guys, this is AlphaTots, and today we're going to be reviewing the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. Unlike the eye-catching shiny Aura Glow color on last year's Note 10, Samsung decided to tone the aggressiveness down for a more subtle and calmer approach, which in my opinion gives it a more cleaner, modern look. I'm not saying that the Aura Glow is a bad color, it was just a huge fingerprint magnet, so I always felt the need to keep on wiping the back of the device. The Note 20 Ultra has a 6.9-inch screen that Samsung calls the 2x Infinity O display. It has a max resolution of 1440p and capable of a max refresh rate of 120Hz. However, in order to achieve that buttery smooth 120Hz refresh rate, you would have to switch the screen resolution to 1080p, which in my opinion isn't that big of a deal because you really notice the extra frame rate, especially coming from a 60Hz screen. The display itself is bright enough for outdoor viewing even in direct sunlight, and also dim enough for when you use it in a darker environment, like before going to bed. That goes to say, however, setting the display to 120Hz does take a toll on battery life. And speaking of battery, the Note 20 Ultra is equipped with a 4500 mAh battery. And with that, I'm getting about 5 hours of on-screen time, 120Hz mode on, and with it off, I can get up to about 7 hours on-screen time with moderate use. The phone supports 25-watt charging via the included fast charge that the device came with, as well as 10-watt wireless charging. Also, like last year's Note 10, this phone is also equipped with reverse wireless charging, meaning you can charge other devices wirelessly. One thing I have to mention is that Samsung could have made this phone thicker in order to compensate for that huge camera bump on the back of this device, because this camera bump is literally the size of an S Pen. Moving on to the specs of this device, the Note 20 Ultra has a top-of-the-line chipset from Qualcomm, which is a Snapdragon 865 Plus. The device also has 12 gigs of RAM, and the variant that I have has 128 gigs of storage. There's also an option for 512 gigs. Both are expandable via microSD card slot, up to 1 terabyte. The device feels snappy, especially with the 120Hz frame rate. When playing even the most graphically intense games, there's absolutely no lag, and even switching in between apps, the phone feels snappy in every possible way. Now let's talk about the S Pen, because what's a Note without an S Pen? This year, the Note 20 Ultra reduced the latency on their pen from 45 milliseconds to just 9 milliseconds, making writing on the screen feel even more real. Like past notes before, it detects how much pressure you're putting on the screen, mimicking an actual pen or pencil. It also serves as a camera shutter remote, as well as air gestures. Samsung made a huge emphasis on their camera this year, by not only giving it such a big camera hump, but they've also added rings around the camera and a laser autofocus system instead of a dual pixel tech they had since the S7. The cameras on this device are a 12-megapixel ultra-wide lens, which is located on the top, and it has an aperture of f2.2. Then in the middle is a 108 lens with an aperture of f1.8. On the bottom we have a 5 times optical sensor, which is an aperture of 3.0. And finally, on the front of the device, we have a 10-megapixel selfie shooter with an aperture of f2.2. Images turn out crystal clear either day and night, as well as their portrait mode, which is a lot clearer and more natural looking. And of course, the zoom lens is absolutely insane. Same thing applies to the video. Here are some photos and videos I shot with the Note Ultra. This is a video test on the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra, and I'm using the super wide angle lens at 1080 30 frames per second. And I am walking steadily. This is the main lens right here, and this is the 5x zoom lens. And back to the ultra wide. This is the front facing camera of the Galaxy Note 20, and we are filming in 1080 30 frames per second. And now let's take a run. Okay, so that's the running test. Switching over to the rear, take another running test. To the main camera and the zoom. Alright, so this is another video test. Could be testing the zoom, maybe focusing on that plant right there. There you go. This is a 10x zoom. Still not quite focused. There it is. Twenty times. And then back to the ultra wide. We are now shooting in 4K with the Note 20 Ultra. This right here is the main lens. And the zoom lens. Alright, this is a video test of the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra at night. This is the main camera, and this is the super wide. Alright, switching over to the front. Alright, and this is a low light test, obviously. This is complete darkness. It's not bad. Alright guys, so that about wraps up my video for the Note 20 Ultra. There are plenty of features on this device, far too much to fit into one video, like their wireless DeX mode, which I can make a separate video for, as well as more in-depth review of the camera, mainly the Pro mode and the ability to be able to use Bluetooth mics like on the Galaxy Buds Live. I will also be doing a comparison between the Note 10 Plus and the Note 20 Ultra, so be sure to stick around. Thank you all for watching. My name is AlphaTots. Peace out.